Welcome. Today we'll talk about a fork bomb, which if issued on the system can crash or force you to reboot. So first off, let's have some fun and actually make a fork bomb in the terminal so you can see what exactly it does. I'm going to either crash this thing or make it pretty much unusable here. So I'm running Ubuntu. We'll see if Ubuntu is prepared for a fork bomb. Right now, I'm writing out a bash function that will pretty much make this system unusable. So let's see here. I did colon, open and close parentheses, open and close curly bracket, colon, pipe colon, and signed. Ended everything with a semicolon, and then finally a colon. We'll investigate what this actually means in a few moments, but now it's time to run it. So running this spawns a process ID, and let's see if we can look at our processes. No, we can't. PSAX does not work anymore. And look at that, bash fork reentry resource temporarily unavailable. So this is actually a good thing. What we're seeing here is the system temporarily trying to catch up, and then it's actually blocking the function from making more processes and actually helping so you can kind of still use Ubuntu here. Now, you can't really stop the processes from being forked as one doesn't start. It still tries forking over and creating another process to start. So let's talk about how this actually works, and let's see what the consequences here are. So let me just try starting like a terminal or something to see how long it takes to come up. Well, it's not that bad actually. Looks like the system recovered somewhat, but you can see here, look at all these processes from bash being started up, and it just keeps growing here. Quite fascinating how that works. So if you ever get something similar to what I wrote out, make sure not to run it on your system, because depending on where you run it, it could cause a lot of issues. So let's talk about what a fork bomb is. It can cause starvation of your resources and basically just crash the computer. What's worse, if someone were to implement this in a script somewhere on your computer and had it start up every time your computer started up, guess what? You're not going to be able to use that computer until you find the instance of the fork bomb, rendering your computer useless. So let's explore what I wrote out in the terminal here. So I'm just going to do fork bomb. Turns out I don't have Vim installed for some reason. To kind of show you what this fork bomb function actually does, let me just call it fork bomb. And in here, what I had written was colon, open close parentheses, open close curly braces. Inside of here, I had a colon, pipe colon, followed by an ampersand, and finally at the end, semicolon colon. All right, so let's break this down a little bit. What is happening to our system? Well, first off, let's actually say that this colon here is just representing a function name. So function. If we replace all these colons with something like function, maybe it'll make more sense to us. FN just denotes function. And then to make things a little cleaner, let's indent a little bit and make this a little more readable. So now it looks like we actually have a function name and then a scope of the function in bash. So typically this is how a function here is defined in bash. So basically what this does is when this function is called, or when we execute it, we create a recursive function that calls itself and forks over two different processes with the same function, call, and finally at the end here we have a call to the function again just to run it. So let me illustrate the process for us, for those of us who are a little more visual. So at first there's an initial process created that starts this all off, and we call this the first function call. Well, that creates a spawn of two different child processes. So we'll call this here the parent process. The parent spawns off two child processes. So I'm just going to call this, function again and function again, like we saw in the script. And this here is a child and a child process. And then again, we create two more processes off of this one here, and these here. Notice what's happening. We're multiplying, which is never a good thing on a system. If you start multiplying, very soon all your resources get taken up by these multiplications of processes who all need resources and are fighting each other to get those resources from the system. And eventually what happens to the system is it entirely crashes. Or in this case, what we saw, Ubuntu actually has a limit on processes. So there's some kind of background limit on processes. You can actually set this for the system yourself in Linux. So in Linux, you can set the number of processes that can spawn from a single process or in general, which is a fantastic thing. And most modern Linux distributions are going to already have this built in, so you won't have to worry too much about it. But going back to this, hopefully now if you ever see someone writing this out, whether it be condensed or written out in any form, do not run it on your system. They're trying to trick you into crashing things. For most of us, it isn't that big of a deal. As long as this process doesn't get started up every time you boot up, then you're in a world of trouble. But I figured this would be kind of fun to explore and explain to you. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe below, hit that notification bell so you get more videos just like this one. Make sure to smash that like button, catch me in a great community on Discord, and I'll catch you in another video. Thanks for watching.